afternoon. I'm Brock Burns.
And I'm Ben Worthington.
And welcome to your daily broadcast from the Prestige Worldwide News Team, where we keep you up to date on the latest information from around the globe.
Today we'll be talking about the Israeli and Palestinian conflict.
Here's a little background information on the Palestinians and Israelis. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict was an ongoing struggle between the Israelis and Palestinians that began in the mid-20th century, 1948. This conflict was wide-ranging and was sometimes referred to as the earlier sectarian conflict in Mandatory Palestine. The picture just displayed shows what a Palestinian citizen looks like in the past and today, so that's what the Israelis had to deal with.
This conflict involves the Palestinians, who are the modern descendants or the citizens who have lived in Palestine over the centuries, and the Israelis, who are considered a big Jewish ethnic group. Just displayed showed how the Palestinians lost land over time.
Now I'm going to throw this story over to Mark Skelton, who is currently in the West Bank of Israel.
Good afternoon, America. I'm field reporter Mark Skelton. I'm here in the West Bank in Israel. This is the West Bank. This is the Gaza Strip, both densely populated by the Palestinians in Israel. Behind that door is an Israeli checkpoint. There are an estimated of 99 checkpoints in the West Bank. The checkpoints are very racially unfair to the Palestinians. The reason why these checkpoints are being built by the Israeli armed forces is to prevent terrorist attacks towards the Israeli population from the Palestinians. The Palestinians use guerrilla warfare, suicide bombing, and terrorism, while the Israelis use their military to confine, murder, and control the Palestinians. Back to you, Brock and Ben.
Thank you, Mark. Here's some news on why the Israelis and Palestinians were fighting.
These two groups were fighting because the Israelis believed that they were entitled to the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and Jerusalem. The land is now known as Israel, but the Palestinians believe they are entitled to the land they call Palestine. Both sides claim they own the land, and they both want their own independence. Since they both can't have their way, they share the land and claim it by calling it different names.
Palestinians and Israelis both agree that the West Bank and Gaza Strip are acceptable region to be a state for the Palestinians to stay in a two-state solution. The reason they can't agree on dividing the land exactly and how much the Gaza Strip will be claimed.
Again, I'm going to throw the spotlight over to Drew Ouellette, who is currently in the Gaza Strip in Israel.
Sitting in this very humid weather over in Gaza Strip in Israel. I'm going to be explaining how most of the conflict is occurring. The Israelis are currently taking land from the Palestinians, even though there's a long peace treaty in process and the general reconciliation of Israel with the surrounding areas. Reconciliation is the restoration of a friendly relation. There has yet to be a final peace agreement. 11 main key issues, which is quite a bit. The 11 issues are mutual recognition, borders, security, water rights, control of Jerusalem, Israeli settlements, Palestinians' freedom of movement. Fighting has been conducted by regular armies, paramilitary groups, terror cells, and individuals. The fighting has not been restricted to only militaries. Casualties have been a huge part as well, with a good portion of the fatalities in the civilization population. Argument for the water security is there is only one water source. It is the Jordan River, and it's being drained entirely. Most of the water is also being supplied to the Israelis, and very little is being supplied to the Palestinians' homes. A way they are trying to fix this problem is by doing a large-scale desaltation project. The water will be taken from the Red Sea and the Dead Sea. This is the Gaza Strip, and this is showing what the Israelis and Palestinians are fighting for. This is another thing the Israelis and Palestinians are fighting for, the only water source, the Jordan River. Providing you guys with much information in this humid weather, I'm going to be throwing it back to Brock and Ben in the studio.
Thank you, Drewby. Make sure you don't get too hot in that humid weather.
With this conflict going on between Israel and Palestine, it has impacted the United States. Israel has always been an ally with the United States because of their oil. We're also allies with the Israelis for a financial reason and for military support. Recently, the United States have used their control to push Israel to end the Palestine issue and to move on for Palestine to be a free state. The United States has always been trying to find peace between these two since the end of World War II. Usually, anytime they are talking about peace, the United States is always involved. After Syria and Egypt, supported by the Soviet Union, invaded Israel, the United States' financial and military support quadrupled. The picture shows a U.S. soldier speaking with an Israeli soldier.
There have been many attempts to resolve the conflict since the 1967 war. In 2009, Israel's new Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, promised to negotiate with the Palestinians and accept the prospect of a Palestinian state for the first time. He insisted of the natural growth of West Bank settlements to meet the needs of expanding populations, despite pressure from the U.S. administration to curb their expansion. Despite their past, the two groups are working on coming together to find fair agreements. The picture just displayed showed the water agreement between Palestine and Israel.
Alright, that's all we have for today. I'm Ben Worthington.
And I'm Brock Burns. Have a great rest of your day, and be sure to tune in to Prestige Worldwide tomorrow for more additional news. See you.